From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big early morning in here on LALATE with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the bill. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you in the fourth stimulus recon. While the bill vote has yet to happen, the agreement to pass it has happened. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people, not to children's checks. That was third stimulus. This is fourth. Then we cut to the excitement. The recon versus the bipartisan. Ronald Portman said he was ready to vote on it with his Republicans on Monday. He didn't. So what happened? Does Chuck Schumer have a plan B ready? He does. And what is it? In the final 15 of the final 7 minutes of this video, you'll see breaking news you have never heard before on Early Mornings LA. It's very complicated, but I'll make it easy breezy. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits over lifetime. And finally, Richard, $22,000 he has gotten from rent and watching this channel. The biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel, a viewer getting for rent $22,000. And minutes before that, Angela getting $5,000 for utilities, the biggest payout. They joined Nisi with $23,000, Art Sullivan with 3 items, Louie with $18,000 for Snap. I'll show you how to get this big money as well. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. It's a beautiful morning. I'm excited for you to join me. It's a great early mornings. Let's get to the deliciousness, starting right here, right now, on Early Mornings LA. You're having a beautiful day. It is gorgeous here in Santa Monica. I'm sorry if you feel jealous. We are just having paradise weather in the last 24 hours. It was hot and muggy last weekend. Then that rain came in, you remember, 2 days ago here in Santa Monica, and it just wiped away all the mugginess. It just got cool, breezy, beautiful sun, clear skies. Oh, it's paradise. Not so much until I talk about Ron Portman. Jump in the live chat. Tell me how the weather is where you are, and tell me where you're tuning in from. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news, a lot of details across the board. First, we'll be going over those monthly stimulus checks and why you're likely to get more checks from those Democrats. Number 2, deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the recon. It's an agreement. Done deal as to the price tag and to the passage. And then we'll go over some of the provisions that you're going to get checks for. All checks for American people, including seniors, workers. This is not the children's checks, the third stimulus. This is everyone else. Then we cut to the excitement. Ron Portman versus Nancy Pelosi. Recon versus bipartisan. Ron Portman said he was ready for a vote on Monday. You didn't see it happen. Why did it not happen? Did Nancy Pelosi call his bluff? And does Chuck Schumer have a plan B ready? And what is plan B? A lot of breaking details, a lot of information. It's the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the very end. I got a lot for you as in the final 15 of the final 7. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. And finally, Richard, $22,000 in rent from watching my videos. The biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel ever for rent. And minutes before that, Angela reporting $5,000 utilities. The biggest payout we've ever seen for that. Joining Louie, who got $18,000 for Snap. We'll show you how to get all this incredible money across the board. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. Coming up next is Mornings LA at 9 a.m. And Overnight's Crypto is right after this show is over. Stay here. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Every like helps. Don't forget to like the video. 3,000 likes. It helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check starting right now. Senate approach, House approach. Slightly different. Both monthly stimulus checks, but they're different when you consider the impact of Delta. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate approach is monthly, but July to December. let's go over the payouts. House is $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate amount monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Everything changed in 4 weeks. 4 weeks ago, we thought the pandemic may be over and that the legislators may just give us 12 checks. Well, 3 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic's not over. And that would mean pandemic plus 1 year. Then 2 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic's really not over. And then last week, we realized the pandemic's far from over. Overnight, the CDC reversed its mass mandate guidelines, telling people to put back on their mask, even the vaccinated. That's what LA County's rule was over 2 weeks earlier. With that, the House bill would likely pay pandemic plus 1 year, not just 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks from the House. Those more than 12 checks from the House would be more than $13,000 from the House. So compare that to this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump on the live chat right now, the live chat, and vote House or Senate, House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuned in from and how's the weather. Boy, things have changed really quickly. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent, if you got a third stimulus check, you get a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check as well. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. The fourth stimulus check is on income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents, children, and adults. And finally, the fourth stimulus check is monthly. It is not a waivable check. I learned that lesson royally last weekend. I was at Mitch's Lobster Fest, and I saw Senator McConnell from afar. I did not want to wave at him, so I walked up to him. I said, hi, Senator McConnell, how are you? Oh, hello, LALATE. I didn't recognize you without your purple shirt. How are you? I'm good, Senator McConnell. I did not want to wave at you from afar, because I thought that would be rude. Yes, LALATE, I'm not a waivable check. I looked at him, I said, well, Mitch, you're not a monthly check either. Get out of here, LA. Security. That was the end of my visit to the Lobster Fest. Yes, I did get some tartar sauce, though. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over the deliciousness of the recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. The Democrats have agreed to pass the recon. And at a price tag that is enormous, $3.5 trillion. I'll be going over some of those checks as checks for everyone. This is not third stimulus with those checks for children. This is for seniors. This is for workers. This is for all of us. It's $3.5 trillion of checks, and they're coming to you. But first, the third part of this video, which heats up with the surprising dramatics between Nancy, Ron Portman, and Chuck. Chuck thought that perhaps Ron Portman would not deliver the vote on Monday among Republicans for the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. He did not. You didn't see the vote happen. So did Chuck Schumer prepare with a plan B the Friday before? And why did Nancy Pelosi call Ron Portman's bluff, saying he did not have any Republicans ready? And did someone call up Ron Portman and say, don't do the deal? A lot of dramatics, and you can see some of these for the first time on this early morning's broadcast. This is the third part of this fourth stimulus check update. Also later in this video, fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime and applies a new benchmark. But first, money. And boy, you are getting enormous sums of money. If you got on rent, post in the live chat right now. If you got on utilities, post it. If you got on Snap, post it right now. And you saw what I detailed earlier in this video. Richard, overnight, 2 viewers breaking all records of this channel. Not just for third stimulus, all records ever seen. Richard reported getting $22,000 of rent overnight. It's absolutely enormous. How did he do it? He said he did it by watching my videos since January, understanding that the money was in different places. He got it from the state. Remember, I always tell you there's different places to get the money. He got it from the state. He said he was waiting for it to open. It opened. He applied. Hawk, hawk, as a purple hawk. He pounced as soon as it opened, and then it closed quickly. He waited for weeks, and then he got approved. $22,000. Angela, just minutes later, sent me also a private message saying she got $5,000 for utilities. I've never seen these numbers ever in the history of this channel. I congratulate Richard and Angela and all the rest of you. Let's go over all the details. I was recording videos just a few weeks ago where I thought rent was $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. Then Nisi came around. She got $23,000 of rent, $20,000 of rent, and then $3,000 for other add-ons. Congratulations, Nisi. Now Richard got $22,000 for rent. My goodness. I was recording videos at the utilities was a couple $100, maybe $300. Then we had viewers get $3,000 routinely. And then Angela overnight, $5,000. Biggest we've ever seen in the history of this channel. Then as a snap, I said maybe $5,000 to $6,000 because I had a couple of viewers get $5,000 to $6,000. Then came John. John, you killed it. I'm so proud of you, my friend. He got $10,000 to $12,000. And then Louis blew it out of the ballpark. $18,000, Louis. Congratulations. I'm going to get a pen and paper. You're going to get a pen and paper. I'm going to go over all the incredible details of how to get this money. I'm going to show you how to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. It's available for you. And that's coming up in 1 second. But what's going on? This is what this channel does. This channel is about cashing checks, not tracking checks. In May of last year, April of last year, actually, this channel launched because people's EIDL loans and EIDL grant checks were not coming. They were due. They were supposed to come in 3 days after you sign up. They didn't come. No checks to cash, no checks to track. But I stepped in. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL checks to cash. In fall of 2020, then, second stimulus checks were not coming. I stepped in. I got viewers $250,000 of checks to cash. Like Tyrone, his family of 4 out of Boston got $15,000 from my channel for rent in December. Paid all his rent to the spring. Now you're doing it even bigger. The difference this time around is you're getting bigger numbers than I've ever seen in the history of this channel. So let's first start with the big money and where you get it. You're going to reach out to different places. We're looking for this rent, utilities, mortgages, and homeowners utilities. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. They also have their own pots of money. Are you ready? Here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your state, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, there you go, Richard, and your state housing authority. And the key words you're going to say, viewers tell me are critical for getting approval, is rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's fan club. They don't know those things. They don't, may not even exist. But there you go. And that is the deliciousness of rent. If you got this post in live chat, congratulations to Michael and also Lynn, who got this big money for rent as well. The next pot of the money is for SNAP. And it's just a fortune. If you got a SNAP, post in the live chat right now. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A lot. What is the eligibility? About the same as a stimulus check, a little bit easier. Why would you not get it? How much does it pay? A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $15,000, $16,000 a year. Whoa, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15%. So go get it. And yes, John got $10,000 to $12,000. Louis got $18,000. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. It's enormous, and you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it. I'm so proud of all of you. $18,000 for SNAP, Louis. $22,000 for rent, Richard. $5,000 for utilities, Angela. Nisi, $23,000 across the board. R. Sullivan, 3 items. And we're just 13 minutes of this video. I got more money for you right now. It's coming back from your states. States have been ordered to return money back to you due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. One viewer got $3,000. One viewer got $5,000. You've got this as well. Jump on the live chat. Where's the landing direct deposit? Can you track it? Yeah. Contact your state and say, hey, state, where's that check to do computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? And finally, the last pile of money is a refund check from IRS. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. Yesterday at Mornings LA, one viewer had a wonderfully nice comment, but I lost it, where she said she called up IRS and found out about the different waves. Great information. So I have never heard that. Wonderful information. IRS does give us an update. There are incoming in waves, and the latest round, the average payment is $1,265. Wow, great news. One viewer on noontime yesterday got $2,000 for refund. Great, congratulations to that viewer. Direct deposit for this wave started July 14th and paper check July 16th. There'll be a new wave every week. Wonderful. Now, if you're on the live chat and you have not posted your success story for rent, utilities, or SNAP, or any of these items, post them right now, because when you do, you help other viewers. That's the spirit of this channel. Viewers helping viewers. 3 things happen from it. 1, if you see 2,000 people in the live chat and you see all these people posting these success stories for money they got, I don't care if it's $5, that's a success for anyone. Post every penny you got. That inspires other people to get the money. You're helping other people, inspiring them to say, wait a second, I'll go get the money. I didn't think of getting this. Number 2, viewers like Art Sullivan and Nisi inspire other people because they got 3 items. And so when you got 3 items and someone may be watching only got 1 item, then they realize, oh, wait, let me get the other 2 items. And then number 3, it updates us about the number. Instead of $5,000, $6,000 for SNAP, we see $18,000. And there you go. This refund check from IRS is landing in direct deposit otherwise in the mail. Let's say you have $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 in taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. You're getting back $4,000. When this month? Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov, do transcript search, and 70% of the time it works. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. But it'll also reveal some stuff you didn't want to see. It'll reveal when Mitch appeared on Star Search, was that hair from Amazon Hair? And then it will reveal the refund check you're getting. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your 4 stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. Tim Kaine confirms that there's an agreement for the price tag, and that agreement is basically passage with the exception of not having the final bill vote. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the 4 stimulus recon. More about these checks later in this video. But this is huge because just a few weeks ago, the recon before July 4th had roads and bridges in there and was not passable. Democrats said, I'm not voting in favor of it. Take the roads and bridges out. It's too big. They did. They shrunk the recon, put those roads and bridges into the bipartisan, and made it passable. And now it has been passed as the price tag, $3.5 trillion. We have that confirmation from a conservative publication, which says the following. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. There's a confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending for the recon and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to set you up. Now, at this part of the video, I usually say Republicans don't feel set up because they think the the bipartisan is going to get passed because they got 11 plus Republican senators ready to pass it. But one guy made a phone call on Sunday saying, yeah, you Republicans are getting set up. Who is that one guy? It's coming up later in this video. But what happened next? Well, once the recon was shrunk, the progressives were able to add a little bit more in there, and they got it big and beautiful at where they wanted, at $3.5 trillion, a huge number. This is what they wanted. Representative Elon Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, said, I have to have a recon that goes as big as I want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion. Richie Torres, Democrat out of New York, said, we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure the recon went big enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. How did they do this? By protecting the recon, because the president had contacted progressives to say, protect the recon. It's all our policies, yours, progressives, and mine. Brian Schatz, Democrat, progressive out of Hawaii, said the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon the White House's own priorities. There you go. And Jalapal had gotten the same comment as well, protect the recon. So let's go over what a recon is. Let's go over what it is, how it's written, when it's called for a vote, how we see it and when we don't see it. Let's start first with the words. I only use 2 words on this channel. Recon and bipartisan. They're easy. But the problem is that broadcast media uses other words. Yesterday morning, I turned on my favorite broadcast financial news channel to start the day, and it was butchering the story. I give them a C+. They literally were using the 2 different paths and putting them together and calling it one name. Very confusing. I covered this stuff. I couldn't even follow them. It made no sense. But I want you to know all the details so you won't get confused. Remember, 2 items covered on this channel. Recon and the bipartisan. Recon is your money. Bipartisan is the roads and bridges. That's easy. So what are these other words, names out there? Let's go over them. Recon is also called reconciliation. This is your money. It's also called the budget bill. That's pretty easy. How do you recognize it? Price tag, $3.5 trillion. Who would be quoting the article about it? Someone like a Bernie Sanders. Okay, that's pretty easy. Bipartisan, also called infrastructure. Okay, easy. Also called roads and bridges. Price tag $1.5 trillion. People you'll see quoting the article about it are a Mitt Romney, a Kristen Sinema, and a Ron Portman. Easy breezy. That's easy to understand. So who writes the recon? The recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. Who actually does the writing? House subcommittee members. Under the Constitution, the House subcommittees are divided by subject, and each subcommittee does different subjects. In this case, the Senate subcommittees also help them. So, for example, House Ways and Means Subcommittee is responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When all those subcommittees are done, they send everything they have written up to Chuck. Let's say we have 10 subcommittees and 10 pages. They combine and send it up to Chuck, 100 pages. Chuck then puts a big ass on it. For Laverne and Shirley, for sassy, for salty, for seductive. For Schumer, no, for Senate, all of the above. And that is your recon. Until we have the recon, it's not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. Not bill yet. Until we have the bill, it's not bill yet. But when we do have the bill, we have the bill. And that's not finally either it yet as well. More about that in a second. Here's what you need to know is that under the Constitution, there's no requirement for these subcommittees to show you what they're doing while they're doing it. So whatever they're writing, not writing, including taking out, voting in favor, voting against, they don't have to show you. And they will likely not show you. But when it gets debuted with that big ass as a Senate bill, then we see it. Before that, we don't. And Senate Democrats have confirmed they just don't want to show it to us ahead of time. Sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album, doesn't want you to hear the songs until it's revealed. No problem there. Broadcast media and myself both agree we just not seen the recon, and we won't until it's actually debuted. So, if you see someone in the comments that says, I haven't heard of this as I haven't heard, the reason I haven't heard is we haven't seen the bill. Not bill yet. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? By Jalapa, who had written Schumer a letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. This letter is very important because what's coming up later in this video. Yeah, because Chuck is calling the vote on the recon. Jalapal's letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100 plus who had written the president a letter days earlier saying call the vote on the saying they're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Wow, that's wonderful news. Can we top that? Yes, we can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means subcommittee, wait, the subcommittee we just talked about? Yeah, that subcommittee recently wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. Well, we got purple power to keep these people to their promise. We do. They say they're giving us monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. They also say they're giving us 5th. More about that later in this video. Finally, can we top that? We can. As Biden did it. The president 5 weeks ago went overseas to sign a ceremonial signature, but the formal signature was just a few days ago. It's the international agreement, the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum, the biggest tongue twister ever on this channel. And why is this great news for forced stimulus recon? Because this thing ain't in there. That's why. Number one, easier to write the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to call the vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Easier to vote on the recon because the confusing thing ain't in there. And easier to pass the recon because the confusing thing ain't in there. And can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this early morning's broadcast where we go over the next 7 days and the developing details overnight are astronomical. There's a lot of breaking news that can cover in this last 15 minutes. In fact, I'm going to give you a recap at the end because it is so elaborate and complicated. I'm going to make it as easy breezy as I can for you because it is very confusing. Also, I'm going to go over fifth stimulus, but something less confusing is the volunteers. If you've had problems getting that rent, utilities, and SNAP, and trust me, first try to get it yourself. That's what Niecy did. She got herself. Tyrone last year got himself, and also Richard got himself. But if you can't find it, then reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description of this video. You'll see an emoji of a house. Click the link. It'll send you over to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. On the community page are the volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under a picture of some cats. Reach out to them. They'll help you get that big money. Here's a little bit about them. And in the final 15 of the final 7, I'm going to go over all that breaking news. It's coming up in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and the deliciousness of Early Mornings LA continues right now. The only thing missing, of course, is my bacon. Oh, look what I did. I put some coffee behind me. Yeah, I gotta fix that. No one wants to see coffee behind me on the graphics. Although it's sort of deliciousness. It's something that happens. Yeah, no coffee behind me. That's just a little bit too much. Oh, wait a second. Why is that behind me? Because oh, I see what I did. I put myself here. There we go. Yeah, so subscribe. Subscribe, because I'll figure out how to do these things eventually. Subscribe right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. I mean, where else you can see coffee in the background? And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, VIP. Let me get right into fist symbols before I butcher. See, that's why if you delivered my bacon, I would not have messed that up. The stimulus heats up this fall as the president's lack of delivery on this has been picked up by the Democrats. They're putting that SSI reform in fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is this fall. Go to voting, go to writing in September, heading out to a vote about October, November, and then but hitting your bank account by like a November. But the benchmark will be December. First, they're going to raise your benefits up. Then they're going to remove the asset limit, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. And if I get my wishes, they'll include some bacon for me so I don't mess up graphics anymore. Who gets this? You do. But the bacon is just only for me. Who gets this? You do. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, multiple beneficiaries. First, they'll raise your benefits up. That's first. Number two, they'll apply the new benchmark. They'll apply that benchmark in December. What is the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is the inflation going? The rate? It's going to be transitory. That's what Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, said on Capitol Hill last week. What is transitory? It's a fancy word to say it's a temporary spike. And when is that temporary spike? December. Yes, right when they apply your benchmark. Oh boy, that's great news. How high is it going? Wall Street last week said my number, 5% temporary spike in December. And the housing starts number yesterday was very, very strong, which is signaling that's where we're heading. We'll see the CPI and PPI in the next few days again. It looks like we're heading to that. So let's go over all the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up one big time. Then they'll apply the benchmark in December. Let's say it's 5%. That'll raise your benefits up another 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be at +5, +2%. It's great news. Then they're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says 80s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and also stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win and you'll do a pair dance. You'll be able to get benefits even if you're married. So if you lost them, they'll be restored. And if you want to get married, you'll no longer fear the marriage penalty. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. A lot of stuff in fifth stimulus. Also a fifth stimulus check. Those House Ways and Means Committee members represent. They're giving it to you next year. Would not overlap with fourth stimulus. Finally, if you're in the live chat, you notice people that have a purple hawk emoji next to their name. Consider becoming a hawk as well. Those are the people who are getting the big sums of money from this channel because, as a purple hawk, I deliver to them daily all the big money that is available for them to get. That's why Purple Hawks, are pouncing and getting all this money before anyone else. They're not tracking checks, they're cashing checks. Fortunes of them. $22,000 for rent, $18,000 for SNAP, $5,000 for utilities. Massive sums of checks. Here's what's happening. When second stimulus was passed, it was a $600 stimulus check. I said, hey, my Purple Hawks, I'm going to get you $6,000. Well, I got Tyrone $15,000. When third stimulus passed, I said, Purple Hawks, I know it's a $14 stimulus check. I'm going to get you $14,000. Nisi got $23,000. Art Sullivan got 3 items. Louis got $18,000 for Snap, and Richard got $22,000. It's just incredible. So consider becoming a member. The link's under the video where it says join here. And with that, let's go into the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. With potentially less than 7 days to finish to get this to the finish line. Not a time running out, but certainly the time is of the essence. How much can be done and what's being done. I'm going to go over all these details in the final 15 minutes. Granted, this will be complicated. It's very condensed, and it's a lot of breaking news, so I'm going to try to make it easy breezy for you, and there will be a summary at the end. First, your money. Deal. $3.5 trillion. There's $3.5 trillion coming to the American people under the recon. Senator Danny Kean confirms that the recon is passed for purpose of the price tag and passed as a principle. All they have to do is call the vote and slot the numbers into certain provisions. Second, Bernie Sanders celebrated the number of $3.5 trillion. He said it's a historic day for the American people. He had asked for $7 trillion, sliced in half, and said, I got the same amount I want for all my programs that it was at $7 trillion, just short a period of time, obviously half the amount of time. So this is a lot of checks. Checks for everyone. Checks for seniors. Checks for workers. Checks for all walk of life. Again, this is not third stimulus. That's the children's check. This is fourth stimulus. Here is some, not all, some of the checks debuted in a very finite article. First, checks for free school meals for all, checks for tax breaks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for immigration reform, checks for farming, checks for elections, checks to close the digital divide. They're going to give money to local cities so they can run their own internet company and deliver you free internet. Then, checks for clean energy. Finally, my checks for my workers and checks for my seniors. First, my workers. Checks for workers, checks for unions, collective bargaining, independent contractors, and then checks for my seniors. Medicare expansion, lowering eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Wow, great news. Now let's cut over to the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. Mitt Romney 2 weeks ago said the vote will be ready last week or this week. I said 2 weeks ago it's not going to happen last week. It's too soon. Likely this week. Well, what happened? Chuck Schumer at the middle of last week, maybe about Thursday, called the vote to end discussion of the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. I said it was going to fail, but I said it was going to help us because it was going to put fire under the feet of the Republicans to get moving. It did fail, but it did work. In fact, it worked better than anticipated. Minutes later, that Thursday or Wednesday, Ron Portman delivered a letter to Chuck Schumer saying 11 Republican senators have agreed to call the vote on the roads and bridges this last Monday. Yes, this is huge. You know why this is huge. 2 reasons. 1, the recon is called for a vote before the bipartisan. So if the bipartisan is ready, then the recon gets called for a vote before it. That's the first great news. Number 2, you know that over the last month, a series of Democrats who are sort of the problematic Democratic senators said, I'm not going to vote on the recon if the bipartisan is not ready. Well, now that the bipartisan is reportedly ready, the recon can go for a vote. Great news. But I have my own personal opinion of the situation. I got 2 people to weigh. I have Mitt Romney's assurances, Republican senator, and I have Ron Portman's assurances to weigh, Republican senator. How do I weigh them? Very differently. Mitt Romney over the last year has always delivered on time, element, written very quickly. When something doesn't get resolved, he fixes it, he gets things done. Ron Portman, on the other hand, has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. First of all, Ron Portman somehow overnight became the lead negotiator among the Republicans for the bipartisan. Not very clear where that came from. It's sort of like he's self-appointed. But in May of last year, Ron Portman really left a lot of people not liking him when he said, as you're losing your home, your business, and car, and everything during the ravaging of the pandemic, get back to work. I'm going to cut off your unemployment benefits. You're lazy. You don't need any unemployment benefits anymore. That's Ron Wyden. So when weighing the 2 people, who do I put more weight in? Mitt Romney. Now, that was the middle to end of last week. On Friday, a series of publications all agreed that Chuck Schumer was setting up a plan B. They all agreed upon the setup, and they all agreed that there was a plan B. They just disagree on what is the plan B. Let's go over the setup. As of Friday, all the articles were saying the following: that the Democrats, including Chuck Schumer, believe that Ron Portman was setting them up, that Ron Portman was not ready for a vote, that Ron Portman does not have a Republican support, that Ron Portman would not deliver, and that Ron Portman would run out the clock. What does run out the clock mean? It means that when you're doing bipartisan negotiations and then suddenly you're looking at a time element and you're trying to get things done, done. And they say, I'm ready to vote. I'm ready to vote. 1 minute gone, 1 minute left. I'm ready to vote. 60 seconds, ready to vote. 5 seconds. Oh, time's up. Sorry, we didn't vote. And then you're left with nothing. The Democrats detail over the last 15 years that the GOP has done this to them a lot. Run out the clock, leaving the Democrats with nothing. So the setup that all the articles said was the Democrats, as of last Friday, believed that Ron Portman was setting them up and was trying to run out the clock. Well, what happened? This is the one article that I believe was accurate reporting. The article reports that on last Friday, Chuck Schumer called a meeting among Senate Democrats. And that meeting among Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer proposed a solution. He said, I believe that Ron Portman's running out the clock. Let's call the vote on the recon, even if the roads and bridges bipartisan is not ready. Oh my goodness, that's great news. And reportedly, they agreed. Whoa. Now, this is great news. This is totally different than how we were a few weeks ago. Remember, problematic Senate Democrats a few weeks ago said, I'm not calling the vote on our money, the recon, if the roads and bridges are not ready. They have to be ready, otherwise I'm not doing it. But reportedly, according to this article, even the most problematic senators thought that Ron Portman was dragging their feet. And if Ron Portman's not ready, I can't be left with nothing to report for. I've been working on this recon for a while. I got to get it done. And if the Republicans are not ready, then just call the vote. Whoa, this is wonderful, great news. Which brings us then into Sunday. On Sunday, Nancy Pelosi and Ron Portman both appeared on the same morning talk show news program, not at the same minute, but staggered a few minutes apart. Ron Portman doubled down. He said he was ready for the vote for the bipartisan roads and bridges on Monday. Nancy Pelosi called his bluff, said, no, you're not. And by the way, the recon goes for a vote first. So what happened on Monday? Oh, sorry. One other thing happened on Sunday. A certain person made a phone call. There's a series of reports that says a certain person made a phone call, but they don't know if the Republicans followed his direction. Who is that person? Former President Donald Trump. Reportedly made a phone call, said, you're being set up by the Democrats. Do not agree to the roads and bridges because it's going to give them their recon. Do not do the roads and bridges. We don't know if they agreed to listen to what he said or if they're following his lead. But guess what happened on Monday? Nancy Pelosi called Ron Portman's cards, and Ron Portman folded like a lawn chair. He did not deliver the vote on Monday. He did not have the Republicans ready to vote on favor of it. Exactly what Nancy Pelosi had said 24 hours earlier. She accused Ron Portman of stalling, not having support among Republicans, and she was right. Ron Portman did not deliver it. And with Republicans not delivering the roads and bridges, then what? Wow, by all accounts, it looks like Plan B from Chuck Schumer is in full swing right now. Next step would be to see that recon bill. Let me go over the importance of understanding what that means when you see it and what it doesn't mean. First, at the moment, we have the emoji, not bill yet, because we don't have the bill yet. But when we see the bill, we have another emoji, not law yet. Why is that important here? Because Democrats have already said, that is of other Democrats on that S bill, they're ready to modify it. That's great news for us. Why? Because it may be an imperfect recon bill when we see it, or it may be a perfect bill. But other Democrats are ready to modify it, and that's great for news for us if it is imperfect. For example, the bill starts in the Senate, then goes to the House, then goes back to the Senate for a 2-day vote-a-rama off to the president. Well, guess what? House Democrats have already said, I'm not a cheap date. That's exact words. I'm going to modify this recon when I see it because I've had no opportunity to even touch it. What's important for you to understand is that when we talk about how subcommittees working on legislation, it's not hundreds and hundreds of people. It's just a few people. Now, when we get to the House floor, we have hundreds and hundreds of House members who have not had the opportunity to bite at the apple. Now they want the opportunity to bite at the apple, and they say they do. So they will make modifications. It doesn't take weeks, doesn't take days. It's just what they want to do. This is great news. With that, time for a recap. I know that's a lot of information. It's just a lot. And let me recap where we are. Number one, recon, your money, $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. They've agreed upon the price tag and they've agreed to pass it. There's a lot of checks for a lot of people, including seniors and workers, checks for all different types. This is not third stimulus for the children's checks. This is fourth stimulus. Number two, The bipartisan, excuse me, number two, the Democrats a month ago said that they would not vote in favor of our recon, at least some Democrats, if the roads and bridges was not ready. But as of Friday, a report claims that Chuck Schumer got them to change their opinion and set up the vote on the recon, even if the roads and bridges is not ready. On Monday, we learned that the roads and bridges is not ready because Ron Portman's bluff was called by Nancy Pelosi and he folded like a lawn chair. He did not deliver Republican votes in favor of the roads and bridges, and there's been no indication that the Republicans want to vote in favor of the roads and bridges as of Monday. Whoa. So with that, the recon is likely to land in the Senate any moment. When you see that recon, it may be imperfect. But the Democrats have already watched her back because they say, we want to modify it. So if there are modifications, you need to push. Purple power, you need to push. You're going to see the news cycle really ramp up where there's a lot of changes within a few minutes, every few hours in these final days. Chuck Schumer has informed us that everyone's staying in town this weekend. So you're going to see a lot with that as well. And with that, I know that's a lot of breaking news in just a short period of time. I hope I made it simple and breezy for you. But if it is a lot to digest, I'll be back with you on Mornings LA with more about this. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps across the board. Remember to always like the video. And subscribe and become a member. When you become a member, you get access to all this big information, so you can get $22,000 like Richard or $23,000 like Nisi. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. Stay in this video. It'll automatically take you there. And Mornings LA at 9 a.m. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning. And as always, the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the bacon was missing. Stay with LA for more.